What are the best agents you need to play to edge out the competition next year? Let's find out in this tier list video. Reyna's still a little bit off category in comparison to the rest of the Valorant agents pool. Other duelists offer ways to help their team, but the Mexican Demon is different. Apart from her flash ability, Reyna's whole kit is based around her getting picks, which can be detrimental for your team in some scenarios. She can be a good pick for ranked if you feel like you can out-aim everyone else, but in general, we feel like you might have a bigger impact playing Jet or Raze. Let's now talk about the 6 least optimal agents to play in your ranked games. Harbor and Astra are too hard to master controllers who struggle to find consistent value in ranked. To benefit from an Astra, you need your team to be very coordinated, which is rarely the case in ranked. Regarding Harbor, it's still a little bit early to judge his potential after his last buffs, but here at Esports Driven, we can't wait to see how the Indian agent can be implemented into pro play next season, as it'll tell us a lot about his true potential. But right now, we think that Viper simply outclasses him on every map. That's why we find him at the bottom of our list. Breach finds himself with the same problem as Astra. The lack of coordination in ranked is really problematic, as Breach's stuns and flashes can easily turn into a nightmare for your own teammates. And the last buff Killjoy received regarding her lockdown ultimate makes him a weaker pick on Haven and Fracture, given that his Aftershock can't destroy it anymore. Neon, Phoenix, and Yoru are 3 very different duelists suffering from the same problems. Yoru and Neon both struggle on most maps in pro play, given that Raze and Jet are better at getting the first pick and entering a site. Plus, they're very tricky to play correctly in ranked queue, and can easily turn into agents with 0 impact. Neon is great at breaking the conventional timings, but her relay bolts are sometimes reacting weirdly and bounce back to stun your allies, which is not ideal with rushing a site. Since Cypher's buff, her sprint ability can now be a huge problem for Neon when pushing a site, as you will get stuck in a trap very quickly, leading to your death. Phoenix, on his side, is the only duelist alongside Reyna with no movement abilities, meaning that he'll sometimes struggle opening a site for his team. His ultimate is maybe the only true strength he brings to a team. Moving now to the B tier, we find 4 agents, starting with Skye and Brimstone. Both agents will lose their best map next year with Bind's departure from the map pool. They were bringing very interesting supportive abilities on this map, and we don't think that they'll be dominant on Split. We will have to wait and see how Valorant's new 2023 map looks like, and if Skye and Brimstone will be played. In ranked and in pro play, we think that Skye is sometimes falling short against agents like KO and Sova for info gathering and proper initiation. The same applies for Brimstone. Omen is the clear winner on most maps, and Viper brings a type of cover he cannot replicate. That's why we recommend you to play Omen on most maps except for Fracture, where Brimstone still excels. Cypher holds strong in the B tier. His last buff really gave him more options and freedom to trap enemies and find easier value with his ultimate. Even if he remains the hardest Sentinel to master, he now comes with the best flank watching abilities since Chamber's nerf, but we'll talk about that in a second. Here at Esports Driven, we think that Cypher's pick rate will grow higher and higher in 2023, as pro players will start playing him again. The return of Split will also benefit him, a map he was dominating on last year. Sage fell from the A tier to the top of the B tier since our last tier list. The last changes she received demands her to be a healing agent even more than before. Her heals will only regenerate 30 HP to herself versus 100 for her allies. The good old Battle Sage seems far gone now. Her wall also took a hit, as it now takes longer to fortify, giving her more time for enemies to destroy it. Moving on to the A tier, we find 5 very different agents that find consistent value both in ranked and in pro play. First, let's talk about Killjoy. Her last ultimate buff will drastically improve her place in the Valorant roster. With now 200 HP, her lockdown will resist Breach's Aftershock, which is a major change when it comes to attacking or retaking a site. On Fracture, she'll be able to safely secure the site for her team on attack without fearing a breach to destroy it. The only agents that will be able to break her ultimate are KO with his Fragment Grenade and Sova's ultimate. But the Hunter's Fury will now need to target the lockdown for 3 charges to destroy it successfully. Before, Sova just needed 2 charges of his ultimate. We think that this change will help Killjoy get more pick rates on certain maps like Fracture and Haven. We'll keep a close eye on how the professionals are using this change to help you dominate your own games. Let's now talk about Chamber. Even after the huge nerfs he's received, he's still a good agent to play, but is surely less easy to play than before. We think that he will still shine in the hands of great players while giving you more counterplays to punish him. With a decent setup, he'll remain the best opper in the game, as he can still teleport to a safe position anywhere on the map, while Jet can only dash away to a nearby cover. Regarding his trap, its range nerf will be a major problem on some of the bigger maps where the range will prevent you from lurking or extending. You will need to be very careful in order to keep your team's flank safe. About his ultimate, the slower fire rate will make this gun less oppressive when fighting a cracked player, and help you trade him easily, giving your average ranked team a higher chance to eliminate him. The same concept applies for pro play too. Jet will also benefit from these major chamber nerfs, as she fell far behind chamber after her dash and ultimate rework last year. These massive changes give her more credit when playing the operator and help her make a clear difference on attack rounds versus the French agent. She's now the clear winner on certain maps such as Ascent or Split, for example. We see Jet's pick rate getting higher and higher during next year, fighting against Raze for the top spot of the best duelist in the game. About Raze, she is the easiest duelist to play, and still brings enormous impact in game. Her ability to fly in on sight opens the sight for her team, and both her grenade and boombot are great at clearing corners or defending contested areas of the map. She may have lost her best map, Bind, but will get Split back, which is also a great map for the Brazilian agent. Finally, Omen is the best dome smoker in the game right now, with very convenient smokes that will fit most choke points quickly. He also has the best flashing ability in the game. Omen's Paranoia will dismantle a rush on defense and will clear contested areas on attack, helping you and your team take the upper hand. Combined with the flash, his teleport provides nice outplay potential, which is always satisfying. The only problem we see with Omen is the lack of impact when playing on maps like Breeze and Icebox, as his smoke won't cover long sightlines properly. Let's finish this 2023 Valorant tier list with the S tier. These 4 agents are the best of the best to dominate your games next year. Even with her last nerf, Viper brings a unique wall blocking vision on very long sightlines. Harbor being still a bit unknown and weak, she remains the best pick for larger maps like Icebox and brings easy value on Split, Pearl, and Fracture as a great Sentinel controller hybrid. Sova and Fade both have the same purpose: track and reveal enemies. After her latest nerf, Fade's Prowler is now easier to counter and less oppressive. Her reveal is a very good alternative to Sova's arrows, and her siege/grenade combo potential with Raze will frighten your enemies every time. On the other side, Sova is the classic reveal initiator, still super effective but more predictable than before, as people now understand how to play against him. Here at Esports Driven, we feel like KO is the best agent right now. He has the best throwing flashes and brings the unique suppression knife that will give you key information and usually stops attacker pushes. He's the agent you need to easily counter any other agent. A good KO player will always find easy value on every map, both on attack and defense. Valorant's meta will keep on evolving next year, and you have to be quick to adapt. That's why we've dedicated many guides on our channel to help you become the best player you can be. Click on the screen right now to keep on learning.